Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Connected on Relay FM. This episode of Connected is brought to you by lynda.com, where you can instantly stream thousands of courses created by industry experts. For a free trial, visit lynda.com/connected. It's also brought to you by Clubhouse, who make it easy for anyone to create and manage communities on iOS, Android, and the web, and Hover, simplified domain management. My name is Myke Curley, and I have the pleasure of being joined by the one and only Mr. Federico Vertici.
Oh, hey, Mike.
Hello, Federico. How are you?
Doing good, actually, have you ever had Moncherie? Like the chocolate?
How do you spell that, Federico?
It's Moncheri. Moncherie. I think it's French.
Okay.
It's a Ferrero chocolate. It's like it's a little chocolate with liquor and a cherry inside. It's really good, man. I just had one. I don't know. You seem to ask me every time, how am I doing and what I'm up to. So I'm doing good. I just had a Moncherie.
Just one?
Oh yeah, only one. It was the only one left. Sadly.
Oh.
Yeah. I usually eat 2 or 3 in a row.
Do you notice anything different this week?
It's raining in Rome.
Okay, it's firework night here. So there's fireworks.
I can tell there doesn't seem to be anything different, honestly.
Well, if you were in this room, you'd be hearing lots of explosions. Luckily, my microphone doesn't pick up too much of them, but if you hear any explosions, don't worry, I haven't exploded, or my computer hasn't exploded. It's a firework. Because it's Guy Fawkes night.
Oh, the guy with the mask, or the movie, right? V for Vendetta, right? That's the guy.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, come on, I'm part of the younger generation stuff. I know Guy Fawkes for the movie. Come on.
You're Generation V.
Yes, I am.
Generation V for Vendetta. Yeah, I guess apart from it being raining and firework night, there's nothing too different about today.
Well, there's that guy isn't here.
What, Matt?
No, the other guy, the Mac guy.
Oh, the K-Base guy.
Yeah.
The lead genius for the Memphis region.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steven's not here today.
Oh, yeah.
He bought an iPad Mini 2, but that's got nothing to do with it. But he did buy an iPad Mini 2.
So he's not here because he bought an iPad? Just out of spite, he's not here?
Well, I think he definitely couldn't have been here if he would have bought an iPad Mini 3, which I had to we had to have some discussions about that earlier this week. He was saying, I'm going to buy an iPad Mini today. And I was like, well, what are you going to get? And he was like, the iPad Mini 2. He's saying, but I'm thinking about getting the iPad Mini 3. And I was like, don't get it. It's like,
that's why he's not here.
But then I think I said to him, well, if you're going to buy it, why not go all out? I just wanted to see if he'd do it, but he didn't. He went with the iPad Mini 2. He made the right choice. Although I have seen him now complaining that it doesn't have Touch ID. He's never happy, Federico.
He's always so grumpy.
Is he grumpy?
we love you, Steven.
Yeah,
we really miss you.
So there's not really a lot of follow-up this week because Steven's not here.
Because we cannot do follow-up.
There's actually literally no follow-up. I have a couple of quick topics before our main topics today, but there is literally no follow-up.
What are we supposed to do without follow-up?
No, should we make some up?
Just let's come up with some follow-up.
Okay,
okay. I actually have some real follow-up.
Okay, please go ahead, Federico.
So a couple of weeks ago, I tweeted about my quest to find a Malm closet at IKEA. We got one today.
Uh-huh.
And my girlfriend is in the other room right now building out the Malm closet thing.
It's very nice of you to leave your girlfriend to build a closet whilst you're recording a podcast.
Yeah, I gotta do the shows. So.
Yeah. I'm sure she understands.
Yeah.
I have some follow-up from listener Derek, who emailed in to say that basically everything I said last week was correct. For once, and he wanted to congratulate me because usually everything I say is wrong. But not last week. Apparently everything I said was correct and everything that you and Steven said was wrong. So thank you, listener Derek, for pointing that out.
What is this about?
This doesn't matter. Derek sent me an email.
Oh, this guy doesn't exist, does he?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Very nice. Nice.
Moving on from our follow up, I did have a couple of like small things that I wanted to talk about. So I listened to _David Smith's Developing Perspective show today, episode 201. Congratulations, _ for crossing 200. And he was talking about wearables. And he's been experimenting with some stuff as he's thinking about like the watch kit and the Apple Watch and just generally like, about fitness and things like that. He's tried out the Up and the new Microsoft Band. What do they call it? They call it the Band, right?
The Microsoft Band.
Yeah, that's the Microsoft
literally
Band.
the name.
Yeah, I was like, what's the name of that Microsoft Band? No,
it's the Microsoft Band.
It's called the Microsoft Band. And he's just said some really interesting stuff that I think you should listen to. Like, he's talking about the fitness things and saying how, like, he is a developer of Pedometer++, a pedometer application. But he has to carry his phone around for it to work all the time. So having a device on you that, like, always does it, irrespective of whether you have your devices on you, is really awesome. Like, it can track your sleep and it makes you think about things differently. But the Microsoft Band also does notifications, like it has a little screen. And he was saying, and he actually mentioned about how the things that I've mentioned in regards to the Pebble before, about how it actually makes you think differently about how you use your device. And it helps you sort of untether yourself from it a little bit. And you don't get that anxiety to grab your phone out of your pocket and check it, because you can just look at your watch and you can see the notifications, and there's just this different feeling to it, which is something that I think I've struggled to try and get people to understand, and what I have always said is that it makes sense to you once you actually start doing it. And _, who said that he didn't understand what I was saying, now understands what I'm saying. So if you think that I'm crazy, you probably don't think that _ David Smith is crazy because he's smarter than me. So you should go and listen to episode 201 of Developing Perspective, never longer than 15 minutes, and you can find out.
So let's
for
get
yourself.
started.
Exactly.
I don't know. Just when you say those words, it just comes out automatically.
If you've never heard Developing Perspective, that's what _ says every episode. Never longer than 15 minutes. So let's get started. It's a great show, actually. Like,
I
just,
love it.
If you enjoy this show, you should listen to it, because it's like, in the world of 90-minute podcasts like ours, or like 400-hour podcasts like ATP, it's nice to have something that you can, maybe listen to over lunch or something, or when you're just taking a stroll. And Developing Perspective is really good for that.
When I'm washing my dishes, I'm always there with the _ It's like my dishwasher companion.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So the _ has joined Team Myke when it comes to notification on your wrists.
Yes. Yes, he's part of Team Myke. Go Team Myke.
I see.
Mm-hmm. Stephen added something before he
so
disappeared.
Stephen is clearly he wants to punish us.
Yeah.
For I guess he knew we were going to kind of poke fun at the K-Base and the Mac. So he put in a topic for us. Mike, do you want to do the honors here?
Amazon have set up photo storage for Prime members. It's a new Prime member benefit. It's free and it's unlimited photo storage. They have an iOS app, which actually the iOS app... Now, I've not actually tried this out, and this is like the first time I've ever looked about anything with it, because I'm so burnt out on photo storage solutions. Like, it's unreal. Like, people were sending me this, and I'm like, I just don't care. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see it. Please just stop. Please just stop and leave me alone forever. But their app looks like it does, the searching by time, the month and the year thing that I quite like. But I don't know if it does location stuff. But yeah, you can do that. Stephen did leave a note where he said that he uploaded some images and he wasn't happy with the organizational tools. So if you are a Prime member, maybe you can check it out. But if you're like what I think, and that there will never be anybody that ever wins ever at this, don't bother.
So let me understand. Amazon Prime used to be about shipping stuff faster.
Yeah.
Now it's about photos and videos and a bunch of other benefits.
Amazon Prime, man, is amazing. Like,
it's
you
amazing.
get so much with Amazon Prime. I love Amazon Prime. Like, just the shipping is good enough, but you get... So this is in the UK, for example. Unlimited one-day delivery on over 7 million items, over 500,000 Kindle titles to borrow for free, unlimited instant streaming on more than 15,000 titles on Prime Instant Video, and now unlimited photo storage too.
But do you ever use all this stuff?
I use
software stuff.
I use the shipping stuff so much. I have saved more money in shipping fees.
Yeah, no, the shipping is awesome. I have Amazon Prime in Italy or Amazon Italy. It's amazing.
I do watch Prime Instant Video.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They have a bunch of interesting series. They have some of their own stuff.
Oh yeah, there's the new one with Yeah, I'm bad with actor names. With that guy.
The guy from Arrested Development.
Yes, Jeffrey Tambor.
Yeah, it's called... it's called...
I'm thinking of Transparent.
It's called Transparent, yep.
Okay.
I'm watching Community on it at the moment. The one thing about Prime Instant Video, everything about it is horrible. The website is terrible to navigate. It's basically like... It's it's like impossible to find where you need to go to actually bring up the videos. It frustrates me when you search for something and it looks like you can watch it, but actually it's just giving you a link to go and buy it. Like it takes you to a page where it looks exactly the same as the Watch Now pages, but it's just trying to make you buy it because they don't have it. And also, we're watching a TV show, right? A 30-minute TV show. You have to select and play each episode. It doesn't have like the automatic starting of the next episode like Netflix does. But their selection's pretty good, so I like them for that. But yeah, Amazon Prime was a good decision for me. And then I don't know if you knew this, Federico, but you can share your shipping with other people.
What does it mean? You get my stuff?
No, I didn't necessarily mean that. I like how angry you get my stuff, you ain't getting my stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Your one-day shipping thing, you get free one-day shipping. You can share it with friends and family. I think it's like up to 5 people. It's buried away in the settings if your Amazon account.
So you're like an Amazon Prime Power user.
I am an Amazon Prime Power user.
You know all this stuff. Well done. So you can go to the settings and you can like have shared family shipments or something.
But I have my girlfriend using it. Ships with a slightly different address, different surname, but it still allow it, and she gets free one-day shipping, same as I do.
And this is from the same Amazon Prime account.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm going to include in the show notes a link to the A-Base. I just made that up. The A-Base, the Amazon base, which explains how you go about adding...
The Amazon base sounds like an evil plan from Jeff Bezos. Like the drone base.
He would definitely do that, I think.
Yeah.
So it's called inviting a household member, but you can ship stuff to anywhere. So, maybe one day the Amazon police will come and arrest me. But until that day, free shipping for everyone.
Yeah, this is definitely something that sounds illegal. But yeah, good tip, Mike. Good.
It's a Mike tip.
The Mikey tip.
Mikey tip is all about how to dodge shipping costs.
The law.
The law, yes. I'm all about dodging the law these days.
Oh, Mike. So we talked about so these Prime Photos. I only wanted to say because the topic was actually Amazon Prime Photos. It doesn't have any file or upload limitation. Just any file from any device. They don't care, and they keep the full resolution version of your file, and then you can use the Amazon Prime app on your phone. And yeah, it doesn't sound like something that I will ever do, mostly because I never got into the cloud drive, cloud music, whatever it is that they call the products. I only wanted to say that it seems like the right thing to do, especially for other people, and by other people I mean Apple. Unlimited storage, no file limitations, free forever for all subscribers. That's definitely the way to go. And instead, Apple is insisting on these iCloud plans with upload. No, there's no more upload limitations, but there's still different kinds of plans and storage that you can buy from Apple.
Yeah,
and
But that's kind of like paying for Amazon Prime, though, right? You're still paying an amount of money to Amazon.
Yeah, but it's simpler, right? You pay this and it's unlimited. Instead, Apple, it's like, oh, you have to choose how many gigabytes of storage you want to keep. It's more. There's more friction to Apple's idea of storage on iCloud, and it's also more expensive if you have a lot of data and a lot of photos and videos and documents. I don't know why you would ever want to store all your documents on iCloud, but still, it's not the main point.
I mean, at the moment, is it even possible to do that?
Well, it's possible on the new iOS 8.1.1 beta.
Really?
Yeah, it's fixed. Yeah.
I mean, you're telling me you're telling the internet that a lot of things are fixed.
Yeah.
In 8.1.1.
Yeah, can you imagine if they're not actually fixed in the final release and people would be upset at me?
So at the moment in 8.1.1, from what I've seen you say, the ordering of the share extensions is fixed.
Yeah.
The
share and action extensions.
They're fixed. What else is fixed?
I haven't seen the iCloud hanging/crashing bug.
Right.
That I was experiencing with a bunch of apps. What else? Rotation seems to be better. I'm not getting the
stuck. I have really weird rotation problems.
Yeah, that's a major problem on iOS 8.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the stuck iCloud follow library uploads anymore. That just seems to be going well. What else? There's a bunch of other minor fixes.
Have you had like the 25-minute wait to delete an app?
No, that's gone also. That's been fixed.
That's good.
I'm still seeing... I don't know if this is a thing. I only saw... I only had a reader on Twitter telling me the same thing. On my iPad Air 2, there's... just randomly, there's a pop in the speaker, like this. And it's just random.
What, like it just happens?
It just happens like...
Oh, that's weird.
Not even when you're like playing music or other audio. Like when you, I don't know, you open the settings page of an app and the speaker pops. And because of the iPad Air 2, because it's so thin and you can feel the device vibrate when you play some audio on your device, the pop, it's like you can hear it and feel it in your hands. And it's really weird because it's not related to audio and it just keeps happening. And I had another person on Twitter. He told me the same thing. So I'm not the only one, and it doesn't seem to be a hardware issue. So it must be a software issue that's still not fixed in the 8.1.8 beta, which came out 2 days ago, I think. So Apple is doing betas for everything now. They're doing betas for iOS, for Yosemite, for iCloud. I wonder if they'll ever do a beta for, I don't know, did they do other software? Like
Apple Watch OS.
Apple Watch betas.
The WatchKit is in beta. Let's just say that that's accurate.
It's actually coming out in November, the WatchKit beta, I think.
Is it a beta or is it just the tools? It's probably just the tools, right? I don't think
the developer tools.
Beta,
But they're technically betas until they're... But anyway, Apple is a beta company.
This week's episode of Connected is brought to you by our good friends over at lynda.com, who provide you with an easy and affordable way to help you learn awesome stuff. With Lynda, you can instantly stream thousands of courses created by experts on software, web development, graphic design, and so much more. Lynda.com works directly with experts and software companies as well that are responsible for making like awesome applications, maybe video stuff, image editing tools. They work with these people. They work with people that know everything, they know inside out of which they speak, and they make sure that they get these awesome videos created for you so you can learn great stuff. All of Lynda's courses are produced at the very highest quality. Their courses are broken down into bite-sized pieces so you can learn at your own pace, and you can learn on the go too with their mobile apps for iPhone, iPad, and Android. Lynda.com has courses for all experience levels, whether you're a beginner or advanced. They've got it. If you want to, and they have so many different types of course as well. Like I found an interesting course on the fundamentals of typography the other day. Shows how spacing and alignment can affect design, as well as learning exactly what kerning is. It's an interesting thing, so you can learn about that. Well, maybe you want to learn about video editing. They have courses for all of the major video editing apps like Final Cut, Premiere Pro, iMovie, Avid. They have courses on how to use drones and quadcopters to shoot great footage. And they also show you not just how to shoot video effectively, how to edit effectively, but they also teach you what gear you should be using and exactly how you should be using it. What I love about Lynda is that you get access to over 100,000 videos for one low monthly price of $25. It's just a flat fee and you can watch as much as you like. You can jump in, they're all broken down into little bite-sized pieces, so you can watch bits of this, bits of that. You can set up playlists for yourself, so you can set out your own little curriculum. They have certificates of course completion if you want them. Lynda.com really is the one-stop shop for learning awesome stuff. We've worked out a great deal with Lynda to give you access to their courses for free for 7 days. This will get you the ability to go in, watch what you like, see how awesome they are, and I'm sure you'll want to sign up. It's only $25 a month, guys, after those 7 days. It's definitely well worth it. So go to lynda.com/connected to sign up. That's lynda.com/connected. Thank you so much to Lynda for their continued support of Relay FM and the world's greatest podcast.
Oh, you really did say that.
Say what?
Nothing.
So carrying on from last week's episode, we did kind of mention this, that we were thinking of doing this, and I thought, why not carry on with talking about the way that we set up our devices? And that's going to be a bit of discussion today. We're going to talk about our iOS Today View widgets and maybe a little bit about extensions that we like.
Mm-hmm.
And Federico is going to talk us through his iPad home screen.
Oh, yeah.
There isn't really anything interesting to mine, so we'll just talk about Federico's.
No, don't say that. I bet there must be something interesting about you.
Well, there's lots of things interesting about me, just not about my iPad home screen. The one thing, so we're going to talk about Today View widgets. I mean, I don't know about you, Federico, but I don't really know if I can share screenshots of my Today View widgets.
Oh, because you have betas.
No.
Why?
I have personal information in there.
Oh,
Like
yeah?
my calendar, my OmniFocus. Like, it's not like you do a really great job of like setting up awesome events when you do like reviews and stuff.
Yeah, that's dedication to the
Yeah, but
cause.
for me to do that, I have to delete a bunch of stuff which I'm not going to do. But we're going to talk through. We're going to talk through the things that we use, and I'll make sure that there's links in the show notes, like the beautiful way that Stephen put that together last week. I'll make sure that we do that.
Have I ever told you where people can find the show notes?
No, Federico, and I have no idea. Please, if you could let me know.
So you can open your Netscape navigator browser, and you can go to relay.fm/connected/12, which is a 12 as a number, and you will find a list of links which are called show notes in this podcasting language of ours.
That's really good. Really good description. Very, very specific, and I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Federico, would you like to start and talk through some of the fantastic apps?
Sure. So let me start with a little criticism of the Today View on the iPad. I'm talking about the iPad today because that's the device that I use the most. So in the Today View, I removed the default today and tomorrow sections that Apple puts in the notification center. And the today section is where they give you like a summary of today, the weather conditions and traffic information. Tomorrow, which is at the bottom, tells you like your upcoming schedule and what's the first event on your calendar tomorrow. If you remove the first block from the Today View and you put a widget in under the days, the current day, which cannot be removed, there's no margin between the first widget and the day, and it's really awful to look at, because when you have something like a Wednesday, right? So it's spelled out in the Today View at the top, Wednesday, November 5th.
Uh-huh.
And there's a Y at the end of Wednesday, and the Y goes like, what's the typography term for this? It goes below the line.
Below the line works perfectly.
Okay, and it's basically, it kind of goes into the widget's name. I can take a screenshot and show you because it's really awful. And it's one of those graphical glitches that,
you see, I don't see that because I use the weather.
Yeah.
I use the official weather widget as it obviously works as a buffer for me. So like you see the letters from the day go like down and into the bar of the first widget. Oh.
The Y on Wednesday goes into the drafts widget name. The darker gray bar that each widget has a name with a darker gray horizontal bar, and the Y goes into that gray area. But aside from that, so the first widget that I keep in my today view is drafts, and I use this because, especially after it got an update and it became a smaller widget, it allows me to quickly save text into drafts, which is an exceptional app by Greg Pierce. And not just because it lets me open drafts and type from anywhere. So I don't have to go back to the home screen and find the drafts icon. I can just open the today view and launch drafts. But it's not strictly about that. It's about the clipboard feature that lets me automatically open drafts and create a new note from the contents of my clipboard. So I can copy a link or like a piece of text, and I can open the today view, tap the drafts clipboard button into today widget, and I'm taken to drafts, and I have a new note, and that's really handy. Especially because I have all these actions in drafts to like save text to Evernote or to Todoist, which is my task management system these days, and it's really convenient to be able to just swipe and save your clipboard with a bunch of tabs. The second widget that I have is the Fantastical widget, and I really like the way that Flexibits built this widget. The way that I chose to go with Fantastical in the Today view is to show the monthly calendar and also the events.
Right.
So you can choose to have only the list of events or the calendar or both. So I went with both because it lets me see. I want to see two pieces of information, like the position of like time in the current week and in the current month. So I know what day of the week it is, and I also know what day of the month it is. And I also want to know events for today. So by default, the widget shows you the current day, which is highlighted in blue. But you can also tap on other days, and you can get events for other days. So if I get like you asked me, Mike, over iMessage, hey, can we record the show on Thursday? I can just open the today widget and tap on Thursday in Fantastical, and I can see my schedule without having to open the Fantastical app or Sunrise, which I also use on my iPad.
The Fantastical widget with the month view takes up a lot of space, though, right?
Yeah.
You're happy. You're happy with that, though.
Yeah, I mean, how many ways do you have to visualize a month? I really want the functionality, so it's a trade-off that I accept.
Are you reading these out in order, from top to bottom? Okay, great,
yes.
Cool.
Top to bottom.
Just so people can visualize.
Yeah, people want to visualize everything. Shall I continue in my virtual visualization of my today view?
Please continue to visualize.
Okay, so also another little detail about the actually two details about the Fantastical widget. You can tap and hold on a day, and Fantastical will open in event creation mode with that day already added to the new event.
I didn't know that.
So let's say, Mike, you send me a message and you're like, hey, we need to record the show on the 20th of November. I can tap and hold that day in the widget, and Fantastica opens and it creates an event with that date already pre-filled for me. So I can only type out the name. And the second detail is that the days in the calendar, in the widget, they have colored dots for events.
Yeah.
So if I have events for my personal calendar, which is red, I will see red dots. If I have like birthdays, which is in gray, I think, I will see other colored dots, which is a nice touch. So below Fantastical, I keep Todoist. Todoist is my new task management system. I switched to Todoist in August because I was using reminders I used reminders for over a year, and it was perfect for me. The moment that I started taking on some new projects for Mac Stories, we added the Mac Stories weekly newsletter, which I manage with my Mac Stories writers on a weekly basis, and then the 2 podcasts with the launch of Relay FM and a bunch of other projects for Mac Stories, like the design work that I do with Silvia and Alessandro, and other stuff that we want to add to Mac Stories next year. So a bunch of new projects. I've been setting up my new place here in Rome. So a lot of different tasks going on. And the moment that reminders broke for me was when I started to organize my iOS 8 coverage for Mac Stories. I had all these different tasks. So I needed to get in touch with developers. I needed to cover the betas. I needed to track the status of my reviews because I was coming up with like 20 articles on iOS 8 launch day. So reminders were completely exploded for me. I switched to Todoist for 2 reasons. It seems like a cool company and they have a business model. So that's reason 1. And reason 2, you can add collaborators for projects. You can add notes and files to tasks, also from Dropbox. And you can use filters to... Actually, you can create custom filters to create personalized lists of tasks. It's kind of like OmniFocus perspectives, only easier, and they make more sense. You have a simple syntax that you can use to create a filter. So for iOS 8, for instance, I created 2 filters. One was for reviews that I needed to finish soon. It was called Soon. And the other was called Soonish, which was a filter that showed me apps that were also important but not as important as the other apps, and it was blue. So you create all these custom filters to visualize all your projects and tasks, and it comes really in handy for me because it lets me break down the stuff that I need to do in a manner that makes sense to me. And in the widget, there wasn't... Sorry for the long introduction.
Well, no, I think it's important because I don't think a lot of people use Todoist. So I think it's interesting to explain why you use it, because I think it's, I don't know.
See, the thing about Todoist is that it's really popular, just not in the Apple kind of corner of the web.
Yeah.
Because in our little niche, people either use OmniFocus or Things, or maybe some people Wunderlists. Todoist is like a Wunderlist for power users, and it's really, really cool. It's a really cool company. They last week they launched this crazy awesome IFTTT integration that lets you automate everything on Todoist with IFTTT. The only thing that kind of upsets me is that they still don't have an iPhone 6 update with an extension, but it's coming out, I think, very soon. So the widget, as you can imagine, it gives you tasks in Notification Center, and you can complete tasks from there. And it shows you colored tasks that are colored in different ways depending on the label and the project that you assign in the app. And it's nice. It shows me stuff that I need to do for the current day in Notification Center. The thing that I don't like is that you need to open the app for the changes that you make in the widget to sync back to the cloud. But this seems to be a problem also with Wunderlist. If you complete a reminder from the Today widget, it doesn't sync back to the app and to the cloud, and therefore to your account. I don't know if this is an iOS limitation, or if maybe Todoist and Wunderlist just happen to have, to share the same mistake. Still, you gotta open the app for changes to sync back to your account. If you have any question, Mike, please ask me. Because otherwise I'm gonna keep talking. I realize that when I talk about iOS 8, and especially on the iPad, I get a little bit carried away.
I treat it as like being in session, like I'm listening, I'm being taught.
Okay.
It's like I'm in class, I'm learning all these new things from you, as
Mhm.
always, and I enjoy it.
If you want to go to the bathroom, you can ask.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So
Raise my hand if I have anything to say, right?
yeah, sure. I won't see you, but you can make some noise, I guess.
Okay.
So next, below the Todoist widget, this one is called World Time Widget. It's the name of the app. It's a time zone widget. It shows you multiple cities around the world in their relative time zone. Two things about this widget. One, it's got an horizontal layout, which I prefer to other time zone widgets because it doesn't take up so much space, because it's not a vertical list, so I can have multiple cities, and it's a single row of cities for me. The problem is that I guess this is also an iOS limitation. When you open the widget, if you leave Notification Center open, the time doesn't refresh. So it shows you the current time, but it doesn't advance with the system clock. I guess it's because memory problems with widgets in iOS 8.
Yeah.
Next, pcalc. Obviously, I saw a lot of people say when Apple threatened to remove pcalc from the App Store, a lot of people said, why would you ever want to use a calculator widget in Notification Center? And I'll tell you why. Because if you ever decide to come grocery shopping with me, you will see that when I buy groceries, I use the pcalc widget, which is super handy and super convenient because it syncs with the app. So if I start entering amounts in the widget, and then for some reason I want to switch to the full app, the amount will sync back to the app, so it's shared among the app and the widget, and it's super convenient. On the iPhone, it's got this simple layout, and it's really useful because I don't have to go find the pcalc app or the Apple calculator, which I really don't like. So yeah, pcalc widget. I don't like that you cannot put the custom layout that you design in pcalc back into Notification Center. So I asked developer James Thompson about it, and he told me that it's also a memory problem because custom layouts will likely take up too much memory in the widget. So it cannot enable custom layouts yet. And it really is a bummer because I transformed pcalc into this awesome calculator / unit converter for me. It does conversions for kilograms and pounds and dollars and euros. You can create all these custom functions and buttons, and it's really awesome. My last widget, Myke, is one of the most impressive and possibly my favorite widget on iOS right now. It's the Music Match widget. So Music Match, made in Italy. I know the guys who make it. They're awesome people. They're based in Bologna, where they make the bolognese, by the way.
That's important to know.
It's an important detail, So Music Match, it's a music lyrics application that gives you song lyrics on your iPhone, iPad, and on Spotify on the desktop. They also have a Mac app, but I'm not sure it's really maintained. So they have this widget on iOS 8 that it shows you real-time lyrics for the song that's playing in the Apple Music app. So you start a song, it can be a local song or an iTunes Match song. It cannot be an iTunes radio song. And in a second, you get these 2 lines of text for real-time lyrics. And that's it. You don't have to do anything else. And the lyrics scroll as you keep listening to the song. There's a progress bar. There's a playback controls in the widget. There's a small album artwork preview. And you can you don't have to open the Music Match app. You don't have to do the Shazam-like scanning or tagging, I guess it's called. You just open the widget and it shows you lyrics. It doesn't work. That's the downside. It doesn't work with other streaming apps such as Spotify, RDO, or Beats Music, and that's because they don't. This is only like an API issue that it needs to be a media item from the Apple Music framework. The guys of Music Match told me they are trying to come up with ways to support all the other music players. But still, right now, it only works with the Music Match app, and it's really, really impressive. I seriously love this widget, and I keep it at the bottom, not because I'm a weirdo, but because it's like at the top I keep the work stuff, and at the bottom I keep this widget because if I want to know the lyrics, I can quickly scroll the Today view, and I will see the lyrics of the song. It's like the act of scrolling acts as it lets me separate two kinds of widgets. I used to keep TV files below Music Match. So TV files is also made in Italy. It's a TV show tracker. It tells me the schedule of the TV shows that I watch. And see, I've tried so many TV trackers, and I keep coming back to TV files, which has got this geomorphic design, and it really looks like a folder containing like scripts of movies and TV shows. I keep coming back to this app because it gets how I want to browse and organize my TV shows, and the widget showed which TV shows are airing today. But I found that I really just wanted to use the app, so I removed it. And therefore, my Today view ends with Music Match and the Tomorrow block of made by Apple, which I need to correct myself because it cannot be removed. Oh yeah, it can be removed.
Can be removed, yeah.
Oh yeah, you know why? Because I set up my iPad with a clean install and I didn't remove it, so now it's gone. So it ends with Music Match.
So do you have them the same across your iPhone and your iPad?
Yes.
Cool. Makes sense. Sense. Obviously, I have a list, but let's take a quick break to thank our second sponsor for this week's episode, and then we can go into learning what's in my Today view. This episode is brought to you by a brand new sponsor and an awesome new company called Clubhouse. Clubhouse is a platform that allows you to create private communities where people can be themselves without having to worry about a larger social network leering in and reading about what people are up to. Everything is part of a defined Clubhouse community that they choose to join. So when you join a Clubhouse community, I mean, you can join them all for free. So it's, people can go in and they can join a community. But the thing about it is, it's not, you can post stuff to the community without it being seen by all your Facebook friends. You don't necessarily want them to see it, but they're going to see it. Or maybe you want to talk about like a TV show that everybody loves, and you're in like a group with a bunch of friends with it, and you don't necessarily want to spam people on Twitter with it. So it's a great way for organizations to have little communities, or for you to have communities with friends and stuff like that. As a community owner in Clubhouse, you're able to have complete control of the colors, the logos. You can make it look exactly the way that you want. You can make it fit the brand that that you want to emulate, or the brand that you have, and it makes your members feel at home. You can have free activity streams that let people in your community easily chat, post comments and photos. They have liking as well, so you can like things. I like to be able to like things. It's a nice little thing, little hearts you can give to people. You can also integrate with external sources like Twitter and Instagram to pull in relevant content. You can show all content from tweets, or maybe you just want to show Instagram photos that have got a certain hashtag to them. You've got all of that. Clubhouse enables you to also extend your community by adding what they call modules. These modules allow you to add things like event creation, SoundCloud integration, RSS feed integration, and even a ticketing system that they developed. With these additional modules, you're able to bring in even more content to make your Clubhouse more awesome and more powerful. You can sell tickets for an upcoming event that you're organizing. They have a QR code generation for ticket entry, and they have very competitive ticketing fees. Or maybe you just want to pull in an RSS feed for your favorite podcast, podcast so everyone can listen all within Clubhouse. This is how Clubhouse makes money. So they charge for some of these, not all of the modules, but some of them that you have to pay for them. They're all different prices, they have different types of functionality. They have a very clear business model, right? This is their business model. There's a bunch of free stuff, but then there's like pro stuff as well, right? They're not interested in selling your users or any of that nasty stuff. One of the modules that you can add is also to have your Clubhouse broken out into its own standalone application. So you can take your Clubhouse and make it into an app for your community, which you can put into the App Store, and Clubhouse will take care of all the approval stuff and all the bits and bobs that go with that. You don't need to worry about any of that. They can take care of all of it. Clubhouse helps people meet and communicate with others that have shared interests, and they want to make sure that they give you all of the tools that you need to create a welcome place for your community. You can try out Clubhouse for free right now at clubhouse.cc/relay, and the guys at Clubhouse are working with us to offer a fully unlocked Clubhouse account with all of the premium modules enabled. If you sign up at clubhouse.cc/relay, when you go to add a module, you'll see an option for Relay Unlimited. Select that and you'll have access to all of their premium content for $50 a month or $500 a year. That is an awesome deal. You'll be saving hundreds of dollars when you look at all, because you get absolutely everything. But clubhouse.cc/relay, you can also sign up for a free account. There's a bunch of free stuff, like all their activity streams are free, and you can try all that out and you can clearly see what you want. But if you want to just get a feel for what a Clubhouse community looks like, search for relay.fm in the Clubhouse app, which you can download from the App Store, and you'll see a community that the Clubhouse guys put together just for us. It has a ton of cool stuff in there, and you should go check it out. So it's clubhouse.cc/relay, or just download Clubhouse from the App Store and search for relay.fm. So thanks so much to Clubhouse for their support of this show and Relay FM. So my turn.
Yes.
You ready, Federico?
My body is ready.
Great. So I'll start off. There's a bunch of, like everybody, I kind of enabled everything and got rid of a bunch of stuff that didn't make sense to me. So like I got rid of the Evernote widget. I got rid of the Drafts widget and the Swarm widget, because what I found was it was pretty much for me just as quick to just open the apps from my home screen than to just pull down Notification Center and open them. It's just the way that I found for those applications. But so I have the weather right at the top, the Apple Weather. Apple Weather is like the weather widget that I find to be the least offensive. Some of the weather widgets that I've seen are crazy, and I don't need that kind of information.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of use it as a quick way to see what the temperature is, and then also as a way to open the weather app if I need to see any more. But usually what I want to know is just what's the temperature today.
Right. Yeah.
You know. Then I have Fantastical. Now, I only have the list view of Fantastical, so I don't have the calendar and the list like you do. I just have the list, because I have it right at the top there, and I still want to be able to see things that are below it. And sometimes I have so many appointments in a day that, like, otherwise, basically, Notification Center just became Fantastical. So it was basically like opening the app.
That's what I want to know. Without sharing personal information, what kind of appointments do you save? Because sometimes I get confused. Is this like a task or is this an event?
No, these are just meetings. So I mean,
meetings. Okay.
Yeah, so like I have, so in my Fantastical today, I have the fact that it's Matt's birthday and it's Guy Fawkes Day. I have 3 work appointments, as I'm 2 days away from quitting, Federico, but or from leaving. I've already quit. But I have 3 work appointments there, and then I have both of the shows in. So I have all the shows in. I mean, it's probably my calendar is gonna get lighter, I won't have as many meetings as I will. But at the moment, I kind of have meetings for 2 different jobs, right?
Yeah.
So they're in there.
Makes sense. Okay.
Then I have OmniFocus. I think the OmniFocus. The OmniFocus widget's my favorite. I just love it. I love having my tasks right there, because with a quick flick, I can just find what I want, or otherwise I can just check things off. Like, I love having it there. Then I have Clips.
Oh man, I forgot Clips myself. And you know why? Because I needed to stop using the app when I was back on iOS 8.1. And I had the iCloud issue. Clips was crashing all the time and the widget was empty. But now I'm putting it back. And I'm putting it under Todoist.
There you go. Clips as well for Federico.
Yeah, Clips as well.
So what I like about Clips, I like a couple of things. I like that I'm able to, like, just to grab stuff. I use the extension all the time.
Yeah.
Even though it seems to have gone a bit weird recently, and it's like for Twitter stuff, it's pulling in the wrong URLs. There seems to be something weird going on with sharing URLs with extensions.
Yeah, I want to say that's probably Apple's fault.
Yeah, because it seems to have changed. But anyway, but the other thing is I have in there constantly a Dropbox link for the Relay FM rate card, because I need access to that quite a lot. So I'll sponsor rate card. So I'm able to just pull down Notification Center, grab the Dropbox link, drop it into an email. Like, so awesome. I love that I have that there.
Good idea. So you're using like as a temporary storage location, kind of. Yeah.
And because it's always there, I need that quite a lot. So it makes perfect sense for me to have it there. And it's just an easy way for me to grab it rather than open Dropbox.
It makes sense. Because it's like a permanent clipboard for you. Yeah. I'm using it more as a temporary clipboard.
Yeah,
I use that I copy and shift around.
I do that, but then I just keep that one there.
Yeah.
Then I have Time Zones by Jared Sinclair. Now, there's a lot of information in here. I have like 2, 4, 6, 8. I have 9 time zones here, so there's lots.
9?
Yeah.
You have more time zones than me.
Yeah, Adelaide. Well, see, I know it's not just time zones; it's places.
Yeah.
A bunch of them are the same. So I have Adelaide, Viterbo, London, New York City, Toronto, Atlanta, Memphis, Dallas, and San Francisco, because they're ones that I just need to know. And it's not obviously. Look, I have 3 of them are on the Eastern, 2 are on Central, and then 1 is Pacific. But it's just about having, because I know it's where the people are in the world is what I'm most locked into. So yeah. So I have that there. I have Adelaide for Russell Ivanovich of Shifty Jelly. We talk by iMessage quite a lot, and I don't like to they're like 10.5 hours in front. So it's it can be crazy that I have to think about when I'm talking to him.
It can be tricky to do the math with these people.
Then I have Pedometer Plus.
So this is a bit of a off topic. I'm sorry I'm cutting you off. I just wanted to ask you this. Yeah. Have you ever considered the fact that back in Australia, when it's Christmas, it's the summer?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
It's crazy. I mean, it's just totally weird. And for them, we are the weird people, because we have Christmas in the winter, with the snow. Christmas is tough, right? And in Australia, they go to the beach with like a Santa in a bikini. It's crazy. I don't know. I'm sorry. You just.
That's fine.
You mentioned every time somebody mentions Australia, I think of Santa in the summer, and it doesn't make any sense.
Then I have Pedometer Plus. And then right at the bottom, I have the tomorrow thing, just because I didn't know I could get rid of it until like 2 days ago, and now it's just there, so I just leave it there. Actually, I'm going to get rid of it. Who uses that sort of tomorrow thing? The Apple Tomorrow Summer.
Tomorrow.
Who needs that? Live for tomorrow, live for today, man.
Well, you should be one of those life coaches, Myke.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. So, see, you told me you'd be boring, but actually it was pretty interesting to know.
Oh, no, my iPad home screen, which we're going to talk about yours, there's nothing interesting for me there.
Yeah, I don't think so. But you want to know my home screen? I'm telling you my home screen. But before I tell you about that,
do you have any comments on my setup there, or are we good? I haven't now. Time zones keeps telling me unable to load. That's fun. I don't know why I'm saying that. Anyway, but what do you think about my selection there, Federico?
I want to know. See, I have a question actually. I want to know if you what's your relationship with OmniFocus? Does it work well for you? Are you happy with OmniFocus?
I love it. Yeah,
because you work with a lot of people, right? You work with a lot of people for the podcasts and this kind of stuff, and it seems to me like you could use a more collaborative task management system. I'm not trying to sell you on to do this. I don't care about selling other people to the system. It just seems strange to me that you work with so many people and you use this kind of personal system.
Well, so there's a couple of things there. So me and Stephen use Wunderlist for shared tasks.
Oh, okay.
But as well, like I'm working with people that don't necessarily work for me in the same way. Well, maybe it is kind of the same, but I don't necessarily want to force like Jason, Brad, Casey, Matt, Stephen, and you to use a task management thing with me. Because really, I typically don't need to make a task like for everybody, you know? Like I have tasks, you guys have tasks. We never really need to share them. I kind of take care of most stuff, or Stephen takes care of most stuff. It's just kind of like the ongoing things of preparing the shows, but we all know to do that. So,
yeah, we are turning into back to work, kinda. Do you want to talk about comics?
what do you think about that?
I don't read them, so. Myke,
Do you not like comics at all?
I'm sorry, but I don't. I prefer manga. Don't know. I'm serious.
I don't disagree. I don't doubt it. But manga's cool.
Yeah, thank you. Like I was super into Dragon Ball when I was a kid. You know,
Right.
And I bought all the original volumes. It cost me a fortune. Actually, my parents, and specifically my mother. But you know, do you want to know about my iPad Air 2?
I want to know all about it. Yeah.
So I bought this device with the idea that I would like it, not the idea that I would love it. And it turns out that I really love it. And the biggest reason why, actually the two main reasons are the memory upgrade and the thinner design. So I was a huge proponent of the iPad mini because it was light, because it was portable, because it was super comfortable to use. And I'm finding out that the iPad Air 2, thanks to this crazy thin and light design, is just as comfortable for me. I can use it with one hand, and I don't feel like fatigue on my wrist. I'm using it all the time. I've been using this iPad for instead of my MacBook for the past 2 weeks every day, and I'm fine really. Thanks to Pixelmator, which came out on iOS, I have a decent image editor, which was one of my biggest frustrations for working on iOS. You know, I really didn't think I could like fall in love with the bigger iPad. But the fact that Apple managed to keep the same battery life and have this new crazy design on the iPad Air, it's really crazy to me because even after 2 weeks, it still feels crazy how thin and light it is. And so that was a huge factor in switching to a bigger iPad from the iPad mini. And the memory, the RAM, typically I don't care about this kind of specs, but I guess that I care about the specs when they have a practical consequence.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like a consequence that I can measure practically. So I'm not talking about how many seconds it takes to render video, because I have no idea. But like when you tell me, you can open 10 Safari tabs and they don't reload all the time. See, that's a practical aspect that I can understand. And so besides Safari tabs, which I open all the time, a lot of them, I'm seeing that thanks to all this memory, it keeps more apps active without forcing you to wait when you launch them. And there was a test, I think, by Pocket Gamer a couple of weeks ago about trying to see how many apps the iPad Air 2 can keep in memory without like flashing them out from RAM, and you can definitely tell the difference from the iPad Air and the iPad Air 2. So in general, I'm really in love with the hardware. except for that vibration that I told you for the audio, because it's so thin and light. When you play music, you can feel the entire device vibrate, especially in the back. I guess it can be sort of like a feature because you feel the music. It's really not nice, but you get used to it. It's the entire iOS experience seems to be much better with iOS 8.1.1, which is in beta. I told you about a few minutes ago. And in general, I've been. I really don't want to say this, but I've been computing. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, from the iPad.
Is that what we call it now?
That is what we call it. See, here's the point. The reason why I use my iPad is not to prove that I can do it. It has always been that I need to be able to take my computer with me all the time. For the kind of life that I have and the kind of lifestyle, I guess, I'm always, sometimes I'm at home. Sometimes I need to work in my bedroom. Sometimes I need to work in the kitchen because I'm preparing dinner or lunch. Other times I'm driving and maybe I have a 20-minute pause that I can get some work done. Other times I'm waiting for somebody and I need to wait 40 or 50 minutes in my car and I need to be able to work from there. Other times I'm waiting at my doctor's. Other times I'm waiting at the hospital. I'm a very, what's a right adjective for this?
You're on the move.
I'm on the move, see? And I need my computer to be with me because I get work done anywhere. And because, I need to get work done anywhere. So the iPad, because it is portable, because it has a 3G and now 4G, I want and I need to take it with me. And the iPad Air 2, I'm really, really liking it. And typing is more comfortable thanks to the larger display, which I had forgotten about after the iPad mini. I'm really curious to see if the rumor is true and if Apple is doing new multitasking stuff. Because I told you last year I wasn't sure about split screen multitasking on the iPad. I still have many doubts about it, especially when it comes to managing multiple apps on screen. I guess we'll see. Maybe again, I don't know if there's a good way to do it.
Like it can't happen without this Microsoft idea of snapping, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I know. So yeah, my iPad Air 2, I really like it. Good job from Apple.
You talk about there, and you've spoken about before, about portability.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've just made your iPad a lot less portable. How do you feel about all of that?
See, I have a Tom Bean bag.
Oh, what one do you have?
Oh, like the original one, the Tom Bean from 2010 or 2011. Does it have a name?
Basically, okay, here we go, guys. I'm going to ask you for some help. Oh, man. I feel like this is I'm gonna get. I know you guys are gonna help me, but I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, okay, and get ready for the email. I'm looking for a bag, and I'm looking for a bag, like a nice small bag to carry my laptop in. I have a 13-inch Retina MacBook Pro, and maybe like an iPad as well, and like a notebook, like a thin, light bag that can be used for that stuff, or I could just throw some small things in there and an iPad or my laptop or whatever. If you have a good bag recommendation, please send it to me. Twitter would be great. I'm at iMyke, IMYKE. I'm in the market for a new bag, basically.
I'm looking at the Tom Bean website. It's like I think it's called a large cafe bag, but it's not that. It's similar, it has multiple pockets inside. There's two main pockets, then there's like other smaller pockets for like a stylus and other like cables and the kind of stuff. And so I can easily, like right now, because I'm moving between Viterbo and Rome, I have my iPad mini, which I still have to sell, my iPad Air, my PS Vita, my Nintendo 3DS, a bunch of cables, and an external battery pack for my iPhone. There's a lot of stuff in there. So no, it's not a problem when it comes to portability. I also didn't notice, like, is it comfortable to use? Is there a problem for like when you try to hold it with one hand? Could be that I have abnormally large hands. I have no idea. But no, it's not a problem because because it's light and because it's thin.
Well, people have asked me that question, right? So going from like a 5S to a 6 Plus, yeah, there is a difference, and yeah, you can feel the difference at times, but it's not so much that it causes any problem, which I assume is probably the same, right? You can't say there's no difference, because I'm not saying you're saying that, but you can't say, oh, it doesn't feel any different to go from an iPad mini to an iPad Air. Of course it does. It's heavier and it's bigger, but it's whether that difference actually makes a negligible problem, or whether it's just like you just adjust to it and it becomes normal.
Yeah, I guess my judgment of the larger iPad, you gotta remember that I used to have an iPad 3. So we're talking to 2012. And when in my life I was at a point where, between treatments and, switching between different hospital rooms, I was always connected to an IV. So I needed to use my iPad with one hand. And the iPad 3 was really bulky and heavy. And then I switched to an iPad mini and I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. But now that the iPad Air 2 is it's thinner than an iPad mini and it's still heavier, but you cannot really feel that weight because of the new design. So this is as a larger iPad. So because I cannot talk about the original iPad Air, but from the perspective of someone who used to have an iPad 3 and then switched to the iPad mini 2, and now back on the iPad Air 2, it seems like a completely different 10-inch iPad to me.
Yeah. I find iOS on the big iPads to look comical. Like, it just looks like a joke to me. Like, because it just looks so weird now, because I'm used to everything looking small. Like I have a small iPad and the phones are smaller, so like the icons are small. And I get a big iPad and I'm like, it's like the size of a postage stamp, each icon.
Yeah.
Have you found it weird moving to everything being like blown up?
Yeah, it was weird initially, and then I tried to move back to the mini and it looked so tiny.
Yeah, like when you try and use an iPhone 5
yes,
or now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, how could I use this? This is like an iPad for ants,
So let me ask you this question. If Apple had released an updated iPad mini with the same specs as the iPad Air, would you have stuck with the mini or would you have gone to the Air? Have you gone to the Air purely because it's now the powerful one?
Yeah.
So if for example, if Apple came out and said, just JK guys, here's a true iPad mini 3, would you take your iPad mini back and get take the Air back and get the mini?
That's a good question. I don't know. Because with the same specs, with the same thin design, the only difference is the size. The iPad Air 2 it's not really a problem when it comes to portability and form factor. I don't know. At this point, Mike, I don't think so. I think I would stick to the Air. Yeah. I'm not sure I need to move back at this point because, I can use it comfortably enough.
Okay.
I do believe that the iPad design has arrived to a point where the larger iPad is comfortable enough and that's portable enough. I'm not so sure about the future of the iPad mini, honestly.
I do think I love the Mini, but I think
Yeah.
now maybe if I was going to get a new iPad, I might go for the Air, because my Plus and the Mini, they are so close together. Like, there is still a huge difference between them. Don't get me wrong. Like, the Mini screen is a lot bigger than the Plus's screen.
Yeah.
But the things that you do on a Mini and the things that you do on a Plus, when you actually do the things on them, there's not that much of a difference between them. Like reading. Like, the screen is so big on the Plus that it kind of doesn't, you don't really need to go to a Mini to read. The only thing I notice, like, is filling out, if I want to use it in landscape, like to do like a spreadsheet or something, the Mini is better for that, because you've got a bigger screen to do it all on, you know? But I think that for most tasks, the Plus works. I have literally used my iPad Mini to play a game since the day I received my Plus. I've played one game, so I don't touch it anymore.
Can you tell me what game it is?
Well, you know what it is, but I can't say what it is yet.
I know. I asked you this question knowing you what the game was.
You just want to drive people crazy.
Yes, and you, especially you. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure, honestly, especially considering the iPad Mini 3 and the kind of upgrade that it received. I'm not sure about the device's future at this point, because it seems to me like the iPad Mini 3 was, let's put Touch ID on that and just forget about it,
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right, I want to take a moment to thank our final sponsor for this week, and then I want to understand what's on Federico Vitici's home screen. This week's episode of Connected is also brought to you by Hover.com. Hover is the best way to buy and manage domain names. It's been my place of choice for years, for serious projects and for silly ones too, when I want to grab my name, my actual name, or a name for a project, for a website that I'm working on, or an idea that I have had. Oh, I have a great idea. First thing I do, go to Hover.com. Type in the name of the idea that I'm thinking about, or type in some keywords, I don't know, let's type in podcast network, see what comes up. And Hover will give you some great suggestions. They have all of the TLDs that you're used to. They have .com, .co, .me. They have .fm now, .tv. They have the crazy ones like .plumbing, .london, .nyc. There should be a .viterbo, Federico. You should speak to the mayor about that or something. I would like to get Myke.viterbo.
Yeah, he's friends with my dad. So
there you go. You've got an in. Speak to the mayor. See if you can sort that out. So you go and you type in the words that you're looking for, or you type in the actual domain that you're looking for. Hover will show you what's available, and they'll also show you all of the other stuff too. They have a great way of categorizing it, so you don't have to just have this crazy long list. They bring out, like, they have different categories. They show you like the top selections in that category. Or you can expand it and see more. So they have over 200 TLDs at great prices. Their .coms are $12.99 now, and all of Hover's domains include free Whois privacy. Hover believe in keeping your private information private, unlike some other registrars, and that's something that I love about Hover.com. It's actually one of my very favorite things, is because I got bitten by that once. I thought I'd enabled Whois. This is before I'd heard about Hover, and somebody found out some private information of mine, and it was just a bit weird. But anyway, it wasn't nothing crazy happened, but it's just very strange for somebody to email you and say, look, I know your address now because of this, this, and this. And I was like, so Hover, I never have to worry about that because I get Whois privacy for free. Hover have awesome, fantastic customer support. They have a no hold, no wait, no transfer telephone support policy. They are famous for this. They have great email support too. So if you prefer to speak to robots, although they're not actual robots, like it's just you're speaking to computers and then people email you back and they're very friendly still. They're like friendly robots that are not actually robots. Anyway, they also have Hover's valet service where they take all of the hassle out of switching from your current provider because they just want to be nice and do it all for you. They have volume discounts. You can get email stuff with them too. So go right now to hover.com and try them out. You want to use the code SPECIALBUSINESS, all one word, at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your first purchase at hover.com and show your support for Connected and Relay FM. That's SPECIALBUSINESS at checkout at hover.com. Thank you so much to Hover for sponsoring this episode and for supporting Relay FM. Federico Vitici.
That's my name.
I am looking at an image of your home screen, which people can find in something called the notes of this show.
Oh, yeah.
the notes of this show, which you can find at a web portal domain, relay.fm/connected/12.
That's right.
And if people are looking at the notes of this show and they see Federico's iPad, what are they going to see on there?
Well, basically, that's how it works. The lower you go, the more business it gets.
Right.
Okay. So in the top row, there's the App Store, Music, Spotify, Photos, and Overcast. Overcast, which is in beta on the iPad, and I'm showing the screenshot just because I think Marco has been open about it. The apps with the orange dot, those are betas from test flight, so that would be Overcast and Editorial in the dock. So I try to keep on my home screen all the apps that I use several times every day. All right, that's the most obvious excuse for a home screen, but still, it's the truth, right? I don't try to keep like apps that I want to try or apps that I'm playing with. This is just the apps that I use all the time. At the top, App Store, because I'm constantly looking for updates or searching for apps or browsing the App Store or looking for new apps. Music, because I actually enjoy iTunes Radio and I keep a few albums in iTunes Match, especially Taylor Swift's new album, which I really, really like. Spotify, because that's the... I've been trying all the music streaming services again. I love Beats Music, but I need to use Spotify because so my girlfriend and I, we've been sharing our audio subscription, but we are moving back to Spotify now that there's a Spotify family, which I think launched today in the US. It was announced a couple of weeks ago. The problem is that I want to use Spotify for personal use, and we are consolidating basically the family subscriptions into it as well. Beats Music, I love Beats Music. I mean, I saw the potential of Beats Music soon after it launched. It's a really awesome service. It just needs to get better on iOS, and it needs a desktop application. For instance, you cannot add songs to a queue. That's something that I really want to do when I'm working. I don't want to switch all the time to my music player to find a song. Spotify lets me create a queue, and Spotify also has like many parts of the app make more sense on the iPad than Beats Music. So for now, we are consolidating our family subscription into Spotify. I'm also using Spotify for personal use. We'll see about Beats Music when Apple releases, hopefully, major updates. Photos, obviously, because I want to look at my photos anywhere, and because I use the Photos app also for screenshots, and because I also act on the screenshots with extensions. So obviously, Photos app for work and personal use goes to the top. And Overcast, because I mean it's the best podcast client on iOS. I love the smart speed.
Oh, so now you have it on your iPad. Are you using Overcast on your iPhone?
Of course,
again?
I told you. You guys made fun of me because I had the podcast app. It was just temporary. I told you.
I was just checking. I remember you telling
Steven
me. Steven
was really upset. He was like, "Oh God, this guy," you know.
Who is this guy?
Yeah. Second row is Todoist, which I told you about, my to-do management system, and I keep it to the left side because when I use my iPad when I'm working mostly in landscape mode, and therefore it goes to the leftmost side of the screen, which is really easy to reach. You know, when I need to find the app icon. Nuzzle, these are really cool and useful news reading application to find links from Twitter. I think we discussed Nuzzle last week or 2 weeks ago.
I keep going to try them out, and it's high on my list. I've downloaded it. I've also downloaded the new Flipboard, and I want to try them. I want to try them both out in a Federico Vidigi style.
Yeah, an evaluation of your workflow.
I'm actually thinking a lot about evaluating my workflows now.
Did you see that I managed to sneak in the word workflow in my interview with the Globe and Mail?
I did. You put
Yeah.
it in there a few times, didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
I'll put that in the show notes if anybody hasn't seen it. Federico was interviewed on the real news by real people. It was very
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, I needed to put on a shirt.
Yeah,
to
you
do
look
it.
very handsome.
Thank you. Next is
You're an
Elevate.
expert as well, aren't you?
I am an expert according to the Globe and Mail, which is it was really awesome. I'm really honored to be doing this kind of stuff. It looks crazy to me. I'm just a guy, but anyway, Elevate. This is my favorite kind of non-work related app on my home screen because it lets me exercise my brain. We talked about this on our other show, Myke, which is virtual. I cannot remember the episode when we mentioned Elevate, but it's if you remember the Brain Age game for the original Nintendo DS, this is kind of like that. It's a series of mini games that supposedly they let you improve your brain skills, but in practical terms, Elevate has all these mini games to kind of enhance your reading skills, your writing skills, like your patience, your focus when you're reading a paragraph of text. And in my experience, it really helps because the mini games are really well designed. The graphics are awesome. It looks fantastic on the iPad. The interactions are simple. You can use taps and swipes, and the mini games are really thoughtfully designed. And this app has taught me so many new words, and that really helps, right? Because English is not my native language, and also it's got this mini game to avoid unnecessary words and sentences in your writing, which really is really helpful when you write for a living. Clips, this clipboard manager of choice on iOS 8, it's awesome because it's got this crazy extension that lets you clip text from anywhere. Pcalc. I use Pcalc in iPhone layout mode because I love the huge buttons in the app, and I want to do unit conversion and basic calculations on the iPad. So I keep it on my home screen. The Messages app, because I use it to talk to my mother and to Myke. Fantastical. That's really my reason, Myke, for using Messages. It's you and my mom. And my girlfriend. I should mention the 3 people in my life.
I feel so privileged.
Oh, yeah. You're the only person of the internet I know that uses Messages with me.
Why is that, do you think?
I don't know. Maybe because you put up with me all the time.
Oh, I don't put up with you. Anyway, this is
it's
moving
really
on
romantic.
from this touching moment.
Yeah. So Fantastical, because it's the best way to create new events. I've tried so many other calendar apps, including Sunrise, which is really popular. But Fantastical with the natural language commands and with the widget continues to be the best calendar app for iOS. My wild dream and fantasy would be Fantastical with Todoist integration. I know it's never going to happen, but still, I can dream. Instapaper, right in the middle of the screen, because at the end of the workday, I want to read some articles, and Instapaper is my favorite solution. GroupMe, which has an unread badge. I'm really sorry about that. I'm also sorry about Mail and Twitter. GroupMe, because we use it for Mac stories. We used to use it for Relay before I talk you guys into using Slack, which is next to GroupMe. So now I have to use both GroupMe for Mac stories, Slack for Relay. They're both nice. Slack has a nice extension that lets you post files and images from anywhere. Pinner is a Pinboard client. I use Pinboard to bookmark web pages that I know I want to use in the future. So I'm talking about stuff like tutorials and guides, or like Python stuff, regular expression stuff. It's nerdy stuff that I need to reference in the future. And Pinner is really nice because it's got this iOS 8 share extension that works from Safari and other apps. It's really well done. Mail, the only reason I use Apple Mail on the iPad as my default client is because there's no dispatch for the iPad yet. I'm using Dispatch as my main email app on the phone. You know Dispatch, right, Mike?
Yeah.
It's the app from the guys that also make clips.
Yep.
I have to use it on the iPad. I would use Dispatch, but there's no Dispatch. I try to use Cloud Magic. I try to use something that is called Mail Deck. Apple Mail remains my favorite because it's fluid, it's fast. But I would really love to use extensions in Mail and snippets and custom salutations and all the other awesome stuff that Dispatch does. But still, I need to use Mail. Quip is the Google Docs-like service that I'm using with you, Mike, and with the Mac Stories folks to organize Mac Stories weekly. You and me, we use it for virtual. It's like Google Drive and Google Docs. It lets you collaborate on documents. You can also add spreadsheets into documents. You can also chat with other people next to a document. So it's this collaborative environment to work on text and images and documents. And it's really nice because I use it for the virtual topics and I use it to organize Mac Stories weekly. So the different sections of the newsletter. Dig, which Steven really liked last week, is the RSS service that I'm using lately. A lot of people make fun of Dig because it was, Kevin Rose and the raccoon and that kind of stuff. But actually, it turns out that the new, the raccoon video, right?
Yeah.
Can you put it in the show notes, Mike?
Of course.
Okay. So the new Dig is actually this kind of curated front page of the web. So the front page of Dig is, they have a team of people. They choose great articles and videos from the web and they showcase them on the front page. So if you don't want to use the RSS part of the service, which is called Dig Reader, it's fine. You can have all these article recommendations and they're great articles. And I love the funny, like the subtitles that they put in the app. Really nice. The RSS service is it's nice, it's supported iOS 8 and the iPhone 6. No, actually just the iOS 8. When it launched, they added support for the iPhone 6. It's fast. It supports extensions. It syncs your reading position across the iPhone and the iPad. It's free. You can star articles. You can save them to Instapaper. And I'm finding that because of all these new services for RSS, it's really easy to switch. Like I don't have the pressure of, oh my God, I need to keep using this RSS service forever. I can keep trying Dig and Feedly and FeedWrangler, and I can just switch because my OPML file is always the same.
Yeah, but then you have to kind of mark everything as unread and start all over again. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's no big deal, right? Nobody ever died of marking as unread.
In theory.
Next is actually an app called Next. See, I planned that.
You spoke about them. So like a bunch of these, like Next, you this is on your iPhone as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This was on my iPhone, and now I can use it again because iCloud has been fixed on the latest iOS 8.1.1 beta, which I keep talking about because I'm so happy about the bug fixes. It's a Nextpense tracker for iOS and OS 10, and I love the simplicity of Next. I love the fact that it lets you assign icons to different expense types. So I can have a fork for my restaurant expenses and I can have a globe for my internet-related expenses. And it syncs with iCloud. The iPad app has some really nice gestures and tablet-only like designs. It's the kind of iPad app that really gives you the idea of when a developer gets the iPad, that's the kind of app that they can make. In the dock, we have the apps that I use all the time. Evernote, because I keep all my visual and rich text personal notes into Evernote. And lately that I've been setting up my new place here in Rome, it's especially handy to keep all the receipts and the bills that I need to send as a PDF to my landlord. Also, all the manuals for the various electronics around the house, personal notes for work, for research, all kinds of notes. Safari is my web browser of choice. I talked about this on Mac Stories. I talked about this, I think, on the prompt and then on Connected. I love Safari. It's fast, it's stable, it's made from Apple, it's not creepy in theory. I like iCloud tabs. It's my favorite iOS app ever made by Apple. So thumbs up to the Safari team, which are nice people also. It's a nice plus. Launch Center Pro in the middle of the dock. I'm going really fast through all these apps, Mike. I keep all sorts of shortcuts into Launch Center Pro. The ones that I use the most are a shortcut to quickly open a link in Safari. So I copy a link in the clipboard, I open Launch Center Pro, and it opens in Safari. I don't have to open Safari, tap in the address bar, paste the link, tap enter. I can just open Launch Center Pro, tap a clipboard icon, and the link that I have in my clipboard goes off to Safari. Another shortcut that I use all the time is to create new tasks in Todoist, because Todoist has an undocumented but really powerful URL scheme. So I have an action that lets me type the name of the task, then the date, because the thing that people don't know about Todoist is that it supports natural language as much as Fantastical does. And this is really awesome because I can type something like, I don't know, do research for Mac Stories Weekly, and then when I need to add the date, I can write tomorrow at 2 p.m. And they have an advanced syntax for recurring tasks, for like other different types of entering times and dates, and it's another really nice touch of Todoist. Last three apps, Mike. We're almost done. Drafts, because that's where, when I need to quickly save text, I go to Drafts. Then I can send this text to Evernote. For instance, one of my most used actions is one to append a link to an Evernote note, which is called Mac Stories Weekly Links. So every time I come across a link that I find interesting, I can quickly save it to the bottom of an existing note in Evernote. And then each Thursday, when I go through all the links for Mac Stories Weekly, I will find all the links that I saved with Drafts. Editorial, because it's the iPad app that changed iOS for me. Editorial it's the most powerful Markdown editor ever made for iOS and I guess any other platform. It's a mix of Markdown, multi-Markdown, and Automator on iOS. You can create custom actions, workflows. You can do Python. You can avoid all the scripting if you want. You can just use visual actions like building blocks for your workflows, and it's crazy. The guy who makes it is also crazy, but also awesome. And the entire app is fantastic. And it's the app that I use every day to post articles, automate any other aspect of iOS, such as discovering price drops for App Store apps, sending links to other people via email, or stuff like image editing and processing and uploading through Python. And last, Mike, is Twitter for the iPad, with the Twitter app and not a third-party client, because for a series of reasons, which I have covered before, which I will hopefully soon, when my schedule allows, I will further cover on Mac Stories. I really like the official Twitter app for iOS. It's an unpopular opinion among iOS geeks. and I just want to mention a few of them. I really like Twitter cards, which I also wrote about. Twitter cards are these interactive or otherwise rich previews of content directly into your Twitter timeline. So things like web articles, they get an excerpt and they get an image, or image galleries, SoundCloud audio previews, videos, GIFs, and all other kinds of content that are directly previewed into your timeline. And I like the fact that you can send images in direct messages. And I like that and this is one of the most underappreciated features of a Twitter client, you can see the number of retweets and favorites that for each tweet directly in timeline without having to open the tweet in a separate view. So when I'm scrolling my timeline, I can see right away whether a tweet is popular or worth paying attention to or not. And you can favorite with one tap, you can retweet with 2 taps, you don't have to switch between views. And I wish that more people would consider using the Twitter app, even though it doesn't have streaming or it doesn't have timeline syncing. But let me tell you, it takes a bit of getting used to, but the trade-offs and the other features of the Twitter app make it worth it for me. As you can see from the screenshot, there's other 3 screens of apps. The last screen is the betas. The other 2 screens are folders and games. And that's it.
Thank you, Federico.
It was my pleasure, Myke.
I hope that people have an understanding into what's on the home screen of an iPad Power user. Now, Federico, there will be links to all of this stuff in the show notes. Where would people go to find such a thing?
So, if you happen to be aware of the web, you should just go to your web browser of choice, whether it's Opera, whether it's Firefox, or I guess whether you use Internet Explorer. You can just go to the address bar and you can go to relay.fm. / as in the character, not the guitar player.
From Guns N' Roses.
Yes. Connected / again and 12, which means 12 in English. Actually, it's 12 in English. It's, in Italian, that's how we say it. And at that webpage, you will find text, you will find pictures. But if you keep scrolling, you will see a player to listen to this episode, and underneath the player you will find the show notes.
Wow, that was a lot of information. I appreciate you giving that to our listeners. It's very nice.
Yeah, especially for people who use Opera as their web browser.
Hey, these people, they need some love too.
That's useful information. Yeah.
Very useful, especially if you use Opera. If you'd like to follow us on the internet, I am at iMyke, IMYKE. Federico is at Viticci, VITICCI. Federico, of course, writes at thefantasticmacstories.net. We'd also like to thank our sponsors again for this week, lynda.com, Hover, and Clubhouse. Go and check those guys out. We'll be back next week with another episode of Connected, and hopefully Stephen will join us. Until then, say goodbye, Federico.
Arrivederci.